Howdy folks, it's Alternative here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, it's been a while, but I said I'm not going away forever. I just only fly when I can. And let's check out the beautiful weather here in Minneapolis. Oh my goodness. Live weather is turned on, although for the purposes of this flight we might have to turn weather off. I'll explain in a moment. But what's going on? Where are we? Why are we flying the Jetstar? Why am I making a video? Let me tell you all the things here. First of all, this is going to be a multi-part video because this is kind of a long flight and I don't want to leave bunches of it out because of this Slant-Alpha, which I'll get into also. So back to the very beginning. Welcome back. We are making a video today because I have time. It's a Saturday and my kids are watching a movie with a friend, so I can't play piano. My wife is with her mom. I was invited, but I was in way too much pain to go anywhere. So piano's out, harpsichord is out because I'm in so much pain. I have a bunch of projects to do and I can't because I'm in so much pain. And you can hear my voice that I'm in pain. But here I am. So what's next on the list? Well, making videos. Sorry, it's like 4th or 5th on the list these days, but it's still on the list. So here we are. So that's why we're making a video. In fact, I practiced this flight a while ago because it's been such a long time. So hopefully it goes more smoothly than my practice flight did. It was a disaster. So that's why we're making a video. That's why we're able to make a video. Why are we flying the Jetstar? Well, wherever it went here. If you recall, many months ago, I said the Jetstar getting a big update. And it finally got a big update. The developer had some things going on, which isn't a secret. You can read all about it on their Discord, but I'm not going to say it in my video. Things were going on, but the developer finally got an update to the Jetstar. I don't remember every little detail that changed because I'm not a spokesperson for big Radials or anything, but I do have to disclose that they gifted me this plane, so I do need to disclose that. The big changes that I do remember that do affect us. One, CYYZ works now. CYYZ is a very ancient, it's a very old, original GPS type coordinate based computer system, navigation system, FMS, however you want to, whatever acronym you want to use. I do not know how to use CYYZ. I started learning one time many months ago, or years ago, in X-Plane with the 727 by FlyJSim. Never really learned it, but it's in this plane and is fully functional now. So maybe I'll learn it. I don't know. I might need to though, because the other thing that changed is the GPS that was in there, the map and everything, is no longer built in. It was a third party. I mean, it's always been a third party thing. And that third party said that big Radials can no longer use it in their plane, so they had to take it out. The shell is still there, the GUI is still there. You know, I'll show you what I mean. But I would have to buy that as a third party thing for it to work. So because of those two things, I don't know how to use CYYZ and we can't use GPS anymore. We need to fly Slant-Alpha, which is no problem with me because I love flying Slant-Alpha. I have my own version of it just for the flight sim world because, like I've always said, flight sim is what you make of it. You can be as realistic or unrealistic as you would like. I fly about 91.5% realistic, which means I would not be able to fly a real plane without 30 or 40 or 50 hours in their simulator, just like a normal person who knows nothing. But I know enough that I could, you know, talk to people about it and play a pilot on TV, on YouTube. I can do that. So we'll talk about Slant-Alpha. I used to, 10 years ago, have the only Slant-Alpha video tutorial on YouTube. I don't know if that's true anymore, but I had one. And where are we going? What are we doing? I'm going to fly this thing from Minneapolis to Toronto, Canada. And you might be asking, why would we do that when we've been to these places before, although not back and forth before? And the reason is because my friends, their husband and wife team, they are on a 2-week road trip to Montreal and Quebec City from Minneapolis, but they're spending considerable time in Toronto on the way. So I'm like, well, since I wasn't invited, I might as well fly there in the simulator. And that's what inspired this flight. Now, as far as the way we're going to do a Slant-Alpha, I was going to talk about the flight plan later, but I might as well talk about it right now. So let me pull that up. All right, hopefully I can. There you go. My mouse works still. Okay, I hope you can see my mouse still. This is my flight plan. I used to do this on paper with pencil back in the X-Plane days, but now I just do it on my computer. So I use SkyVector to get the VORs, the ones that are left anyway, which means in the US they're still here, but if I go outside the US it's more difficult to do Slant-Alpha. But anyway, I have way too many VORs, first of all. So let me just tell you how and why I do it this way and what this means to you, and you can take it or leave it however you like. Slant-Alpha, for the most basic definition, is you just go from VOR to VOR. And then when you get close to the airport, you usually get vectors from ATC, which is why here it says just point at it. Because in this area we would normally get vectors from ATC. But ATC in this sim, this gives me transitions, which do not apply because I don't have the stars for the airport. So I just point at the VOR and then pretend ATC is giving me vectors. You'll see, it works. It works just fine. You'll see. So anyway, so I really could have just so normally instead of going right from here to Toronto, I wanted to see Milwaukee, Chicago, and Detroit on the way, but I could have gone from Minneapolis to Milwaukee with just these two VORs. This one I would have to do to get to Chicago. This one I need to do for Detroit, and this one, well, that's on the airport, so that isn't read detectable till you're closer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish is all I really needed. But for some reason I put in all these others, otherwise it gets kind of boring. So if we look at this here, so there's an intersection. All I really needed to do was an intersection here to Milwaukee, and then an intersection here, and that'd be it. I could have been that simple, but for some reason I made it more complicated. So what these things mean, the hexapentagons are the VORs, the airports obviously, with the VOR frequencies and the names, and then the distances in the boxes between VORs. That just tells me, like, if it's like 300 some miles, I will know I can't see the next VOR, and I have to be aware of that. But because these are so close, it doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll do another IFR flight, Slant-Alpha, with VORs very far apart, because then you have mega gaps. That's cool to deal with. Maybe another time. The D's are degrees, that way it wouldn't get mixed up with other things. So you leave 125 degrees outbound of this VOR, you come into this VOR under 32 degrees. Then you come out 105 degrees, you come in 104 degrees, out 108, so you get the idea. But because it's so close, I don't need the outbound. All I really need to do is tune in the next VOR and find the radio inbound 132 degrees. When I get here, tune in the next VOR, come in at 104 degrees, tune in the next VOR, you get the idea. So I have too much information here. The way it works is you just find the radio going in, but when you switch this, you have to use heading bug, and then as soon as you go over it, you tune in the next one, adjust it, and then use nav again on the GPS. I use my Logitech multi-panel with my autopilot built in on my desk for this, and then so on and so on. So we'll tune in this one, come in 132, use heading bug to hold us where we are while I tune in the next one and get the radio set up, and then so on and so on. This, though, is cool. So the way this works is we do need to go 96 degrees outbound for 123 nautical miles. When we get to this intersection, we tune in this VOR at 93 degrees inbound for the remaining 72 nautical miles. So intersections are fun because you have to use both VORs, out and in. This is so close, we'll just do the next one. In my practice flight, I did out and in for every single one, and it moved so dang fast I couldn't keep up. So I just ended up skipping a bunch. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So that's how we're going to do this. That's the flight plan. The reason why I have around 60 degrees is these are all highways in the sky. This is not. There's no highway from Detroit to Toronto, Pearson, or whatever it's called. Toronto's over here, by the way. The lake is over here. We obviously can't land at the downtown airport So we had to use the big airport. So I had to make out my own highways. Again, normally we would not do all of this. We would take a different highway from over here, and then ATC would direct us, blah, blah, blah. As far as the approach, what I used to do in X-Plane is I used to use instrument approach charts, and I would get myself in position just as though ATC were giving us vectors there. So I was hoping I could do the same thing here, but I cannot find any instrument approach charts for Canadian airports anymore. I used to have a PDF bookmark that was 500 or 600 pages long with every instrument approach for every Canadian airport. I found it on the internet one day, 10 years ago, whatever, and I can't find it again. And it was on an old computer. For some reason, I didn't carry my bookmarks over, which is weird. But anyway, so I can't find them anymore. So if I had an approach plate, as soon as ATC would say, use this transition to this runway, I'll look up that approach, find that transition, and vector myself to it. So what I did on my practice flight, that gave me runway 23, which is this one right here going this way, is I actually flew around Toronto, which is over here, and it was gorgeous because I got to see Toronto, and then I used ILS to perfectly line up and land. It was awesome. Of course, the ILS frequencies are all in the sim, so that's not a problem. Don't need an approach plate for that. So we'll figure this out depending on what runway they give us. We are using real world weather, but I might turn it off because I want to see this. Even though it's IFR, it's also a sightseeing trip with the big cities, so I might turn off the weather if it gets in the way, or if the clouds get in the way. And it's early morning. I set it to early morning because I did my practice flight. I got interrupted so much it took me all day to do an 1.5-hour flight. It took me like 6 or 7 hours. So I set it for morning, just in case it takes me all day again to get this flight in. And yes, this will be multiple parts. I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3 parts. This depends. Slant-Alpha videos are multiple parts because I like to show you what I'm doing in the cockpit, because Slant-Alpha videos are very busy. It's not like an FMS where you take off, engage autopilot, and then see you at the next airport and skip everything in between. It is not like that. It is very busy, and I want to show you the big cities on the way. So let's get this thing going here. Hop inside. First thing we need to do is put up our stairs. Actually, what I wanted to do before I put up the stairs is I want to go here, and I want to go like this so we can watch it, I guess, as though somebody is helping us. Come on, be less crazy. So if we go, okay, we got to move over a little bit here to get the stairs. So we go like this and this, we can watch the stairs go up. Isn't that fun? Full immersion. This I don't think we can get out there fast enough to watch, but we'll try. I don't think there's keybinds for those, but anyway, we're all locked and loaded. Alrighty, cool. Then we need to spin around and put away the glasses, because if you've ever flown with me, you need everything secure. And yes, there are tray tables and things up here, but it is not safe to have them out when you are flying, especially with me. Okie dokie. So let me show you the 2 things that were updated. SIVA, that's what this thing is. It's been updated. Like I said, I don't know how to use it. I should really learn. But I don't know how. It's I was gonna say it's not complicated, but no, it is. It's a little complicated. It's a little bit complicated. It's not like the gyro pilot for the autopilot and some other planes. That is actually very easy. But SIVA, it is a little complicated. Here's what I was talking about. So this used to be built in from the third party, but that third party is told big Radials you cannot include it in your plane anymore. So it's still here. The shell is still here, but you would have to buy the third party package. Now, don't worry about these annoying words, because if you come over here and flip this thing, the words go away because it's looking for the other one, which is not in here. So there you go. So we can make that blank. That's fine, but we don't need it anyway. We know how to fly. Alrighty, what is next? Fuel air bleed line open. I think that's already open now. Let me just double check. No, it isn't. Okay, open that. Fuel and passengers. Now this is kind of weird. We will have to refuel midair because this thing for some reason is using so much fuel that this should be able to fly double our distance, no problem. but I ran out of fuel in the air. So we'll have to pretend that isn't the case and just magically make more fuel happen. Other people on the Discord have been asking about fuel consumption too. But anyway, this plane also does a lot of other weird, quirky things, which we'll talk about as they come up if I remember them. Like if you have full throttle at cruise, you won't overspeed, but it starts to fishtail around like a Mustang leaving Cars and Coffee. It's kind of crazy if you got to back off. So we can't fly at full potential speed. That adds some time too. And what's the other weird thing it does? Oh, autopilot, you'll be cruising along for 20, 30 minutes, and all of a sudden it'll just climb straight up, like at 10,000 feet per minute. So then you got to figure that out. So you cannot walk away from this thing for a moment. Not sure why it does those things, but it does those things. Alrighty, fuel and passengers. We're not going to worry about the passengers because we have so much weight in fuel. I'm not going to worry about passenger weight right now. Let's see here. I do need to turn mixture on my yoke, even though supposedly that is not bound to this airplane at all, but I still need to turn it on for it to work. So that's just a me thing. Your mileage may vary. Alrighty, battery on. That's right there. Battery start. It's already on battery start. Yep, battery start is already on. Voltmeter, DC. It's a battery. There we go. Windshield inverter off. I think it already is. Yep, it already is. Main inversion to transfer. There we go. Second one on. And bus select to essential. And weather and barometer. I think we can get weather already. Tune in Minneapolis-St. Here we go.
Minneapolis Airport information, Oscar 1200 Zulu. Wind 130 at 10. Visibility, Niner. Sky condition, ceiling 14,100 feet overcast. Temperature, 20. Dew point, 10. Altimeter, 29.95. ILS runway 12 right and ILS runway 12 left in use. Landing and departing runway 12 right and runway 12 left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Oscar.
Alrighty, I chose this place, the stand, to start at because I was hoping we'd use 30 left because that's what it was yesterday. Last time I did my flight, like whenever that was, a couple days ago. And we got to see Minneapolis on the way out. But instead, we're going to be using 12 right, which is this one. So kind of a long taxi, and Minneapolis will be behind us. So we're not going to be able to see Minneapolis very well. But when I took off before, this direction, you can see Minneapolis there. And St. Paul, it's too hazy. St. Paul should be right there. Yep. You can see them both really well. Well, you won't be able to today, but that's okay. There's your conga line coming in. Alrighty, let's keep going here. I did the barometer by hitting B for barometer. And let's see, where are we on my checklist? I lost my spot. Oh, get IFR clearance next because it takes a long time. So I need to restart because I did not set this up as an IFR flight. Give me 1 second. Alright, since I have to redo this, I might as well show you. So we're going to do an IFR flight, high altitude, but I'm going to add some waypoints in here so that we see places. Now, of course, I'm using my own VORs, so I'm not going directly to these places, but I just want HTC to freak out if I'm like 300 miles off or something. So that's what's going on. I can remove this one, right, by clicking on it, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure why I did that, but there we go. So there we go. So this is what it looks like basically. Basically, not that one. My VORs are kind of like in here like this. Alrighty, so that's the flight plan. IFR high altitude nav log. I don't know if this plane will do 45,000. Whoops. What happened there? So I want to do, I don't know, we'll try for 32, but it might start acting weird above that. 32,000, there we go. Go away, please. High altitude, parking. Oh, I'm also putting a new parking spot by the active runway, so I don't have to taxi very far. Road weather, all traffic, or road traffic live is off, but human traffic, player traffic is off. I already dialed this back because it's like noon right now, real life time, but I dialed it back to the morning, and let's try this again. Alright, we are where we left off, so let's do clearance now. And IFR clearance is number 3.
Minneapolis clearance delivery Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 IFR to Toronto ready to copy.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is cleared to Toronto Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 right climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Departure frequency is 132.975 squawk 2734.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 cleared to Toronto Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 right climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Departure on 132.975 squawk 2734.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 read back correct. Contact ground on 127.925. Good day.
Alright, I set my autopilot to 5,000 feet, but as soon as we get up there, it's gonna make us climb more anyway. So let's see. Vertical speed is maxed out at 1,500 feet per minute using my Logitech autopilot. I don't know why that is, so it takes a long time to climb. But mainly we'll be using heading bug to get going. Actually, yes, we will. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, there's autopilot in here is this thing. And this does light up and stuff as I push buttons on my own autopilot. And approach works. I used it in my practice flight. So anyway, there you go. Alright, what is next after clearance? Fuel bleed. Verify is open, which we already did that, like, first step. So right there. Air start to normal, which, there we go. Beacon on. Whoops, I'm not sure what that's all about. Beacon on right there. Select engine 3. There we go. Engine boost for 3 on. And start. Which is this one right here. And it should start climbing for us. And I've been able to start this every time now. Before the update, it would only start sometimes. But now it starts every time. I don't mess with this though. I will use the 4 boost pumps. But I don't touch the auxiliary pumps in the middle, and I don't open up the valves. You're supposed to open up the valves and turn on the boost pumps at cruise, but every time I do, it stops from running, the engines turn off. It's supposed to, I guess it's a me, no, it's not a me thing, because somebody had that happen to them the other day, and they mentioned in Discord. So I just leave everything alone except the essential boost pumps on the 4 engines, because it's too scary. Things stop working. Engine 4, and then the boost pump, and then come up here and hit start, and then give that a chance to wind up a little bit, and that's good. So then we'll do 2. So 3, 4, 2, 1. There's 2, and then start that one and have a peek at it here. And it's at 30, so let's do our final engine. Whoops, not off. I can't see that far. There you go. Engine 1, pump, and start. And come back down here and keep an eye on it, and it's in the green, so let's come up here and turn the engine selector off. There we go, and it still says starter engaged. It's going to say that for a while. Eventually it'll turn off. Alrighty, so now we go up and turn on the generators, which are these. You actually wheel down. No, you go up to go down. Yeah, you go up to turn them on. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Anti-skid on, that is over where I can't remember. It's this right here, right? Yep, there's anti-skid. And number 1 inverter on already is. A lot of repeats information, like that's already, no it isn't, that's on transfer. Now it's on, but some of the stuff's repeat. Okay, cool. Number 2 on already is. Winch inverter stays out, right? Yeah. Bus select, number 1, 115, there we go, number 1, 115. Fuel air bleed line closed, there we go. And verify all the caution lights are out. Like I said, that starter gauge will turn off eventually. Let's see here, auxiliary hydraulics on, that's over here. That's so you can like do your gear and your flaps and stuff. Actually, that's so your gear will go up and down. This one is for your flaps. Let's see. Verify hydraulic pressure 2000. Yep, it's at like 25 for like 21 and a half. Wing inspection light on. That's for icing. There we go. Nav lights on. That's right there. And flight plan. I already told you what it is. But that means we can tune in our first VOR. First couple VORs. So our first VOR, we're actually, like I said, just going to go towards the next one because they're so close. Although maybe this one won't pick it up. Let's see if it, well, we'll be able to find out in the air if it picks it up. You know, for this one, I'm going to change my mind already. I'm going to tune and go for the first one, which is 117.3, which is actually going to be behind us to the northwest. But that's okay. So 117.3, we're going to leave at 125 degrees. So we got to bring this thing up, which takes forever. So I just do it like this with my mouse wheel, and it takes a long time. And the way you're heading is with the crisscross thing. That's the direction you're going. Although I tried it both ways to see what happened, and it didn't actually really matter. Except for the ILS, of course. So there's 125 right there. So we'll just get established with that. But then right away, as soon as we pick up the other one, we will head to the next one, which is 117.9. So there is 117 here. There we go. So we change between the two. We use heading, but I'll explain it all. I'm going to show you most of this, which is why we're going to get 2 or 3 videos out of this. And don't worry, I'm not going to make them like a month apart. I'll have them like every other day or every day. So you can keep watching all 3 of these, or 2, whatever it is. Alright, so double check 117.3 to leave, and then 117.9. Then after that, we'll just put our next VORs instead of doing double the work. Don't need to do double the work. We just got to get in the air and get started. Alright, so there we go. That means heading bug. I mean, I don't know which way. We're going to hand fly out of here. If we had, like, a regular flight computer and stuff, we would, like, if we're in the TBM 900, for example, we would engage autopilot, or even the citation longitude, right? Engage autopilot as soon as we lift off, and just sit there, let it do its thing till we get to our destination. In this case, we're going to hand fly quite a bit, actually, before we get established here, while we get established. Let me get my thing ready for altitude, or vertical speed. Okay, there we go, that's how we're going to take off. What are we going to do? Flight plan, okay, auxiliary lights, auxiliary landing lights on, that is here. There we go. What else? No smoking seatbelt. No smoking seatbelt. Transponder on. That's this one. It lights up even though it's off, which is weird. But when you turn it off, it actually turns off. See? But when you start the plane, it's on. Hydraulic system 2 standby. That is so we can do our flaps, just in case. Flaps 2 clicks down. 1, 2, and once the flaps come down, we can close this one, right? Hydraulic system. Yes, we can close this because we got our flaps down. That's for backup. Okay, here we go. Let's request clearance. Taxi, here we go.
Minneapolis ground Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 with Oscar ready to taxi IFR.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 taxi 2 and hold short of runway 12 right using taxiway Alpha Alpha 10. Contact tower on 123.675 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 12 right via taxiway Alpha Alpha 10 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alright, as promised, quick and easy taxi. I did on purpose parking brake. Actually, I had to look up my parking brake button because I changed all my buttons on my yoke a while ago. Oh boy, look out everybody. We're not going to fit through here, but we're just going to pretend that it did not slice the person in half. There we go. Alrighty. Spinning around, getting out of here. Interesting. I'm getting a little bit of frame rate stutter, although when I did this a few days ago, I had 0 issues. That's okay. I keep getting all these questions, like I don't know if they're automated from somewhere, but they're like, why are you not on 2024 yet? I'm like, because I have no reason to. My graphics are maxed out on this and my computer can handle it and it's just fine for me. So there you go. There's a plane out there doing the pattern. Let's not do Formula 1 speed here. Let's slow down. Oh, that was a nice short taxi. My practice flight, taxi took 15 minutes. Alrighty, here we go. And we're going to stop right there. That was aggressive. Ooh, that was aggressive as all get out. Good grief. Parking brake set. Let's request takeoff here. And I gotta wait for all the people to talk.
Minneapolis Tower Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 ready for departure runway 12 right IFR to Toronto.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 altimeter 29.995 wind 140 at 8. Traffic is Cessna Skyhawk on final. Cleared for takeoff runway 12 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 12 right Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alright, we gotta do a few things though. We gotta turn on our landing lights. If it's down, it's both of them. Landing lights on, stall warning, 2 on. Can I get to it? No, not that one. Hang on. This one's a bummer to get to. I can't figure out how to get into this. No, there's a button, there's a click spot right in here somewhere that you gotta click on to get that thing up inside. There we go. Got it. Okay. Stall warning, verify flaps. Yes. Please. Thank you. Flaps are down. Note the time on the clock. Yeah, what time is it anyway? It is 8:02 or something, it says. Okay, cool. Anti-ice on. That's over here. Anti-ice is on. And oxygen to normal. Doesn't really matter because it's already on and normal now. I don't know if that was in the update or what, but I used to have to turn that on. It doesn't show anything though. But we'll leave it on there. Alrighty, here we go. Ready to take off. Rotate is 115, which is almost 3 o'clock. Come on. There we go. Gear up, flaps up before 180. Landing lights off, obviously, after 10,000 feet. And that pretty much is our takeoff checklist. Oh yeah, we do the hydraulics off. Auxiliary hydraulics off once gears up. There we go. And then we will get to that second VOR as soon as we can here. And then we'll be Slant-Alpha flying. Alright, we're going to do turn and burn. And here we go. Oh, that's a beautiful sound. A little tippy like a canoe, but that's okay. There we go. We are flying IFR in a little business jet, my favorite. Even though I'm generally a VFR guy, GA guy, I do enjoy my business jets. Gonna rotate for me? There we go. Took to 140 to get off the ground, even though it says 120. See, I don't understand that. Gear coming up. Flaps up by 180. And there we go. Trimmed perfectly, too. It was. See, why are we getting stall at 200? I don't understand. But anyway, there we go. Alrighty, we can turn off the auxiliary thing now. Look at this. Okay, can you see Minneapolis? There's Minneapolis. We get to see it a little bit. There's St. Paul. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to sightsee with my audience wants to sightsee here. You can see both skylines at the same time. The only other time you can do that is this bridge right here. It's a 2-mile bridge. You can see both skylines from your car. Other than that, you can't really see both skylines at once. Okay, we gotta fly a plane. We need to fly a plane. Alright, it is time. It is time to autopilot this. That we can be a little smoother and realistic. Guess we're going to above the speed limit. Okay. Hang on, I got too much going on at once. Okay.
Turtle Soup Tango Tango
Autopilot,
Tango
vertical speed. Why won't it? Oh, because we're already at altitude. Okay. There we go. 17,000 feet. There we go. Vertical speed, 1,500 feet per minute, because that's maxed out for some reason. Heading bug, because we missed our... Oh, we did not miss our VOR yet. See? So we could literally fly this entire flight like this, just until minimums on the runway. I'm not joking. We could literally fly this view all the way until we're just about to touch down in Toronto. There we go. Let's hit heading bug. You're just turning over there, and then we'll hit nav in a second once this is almost right on there. And are we gonna turn in time? Maybe we will. And once we get lined up, we'll tune in the next VOR. I'll show you how we're gonna do it. But I want to show you this part first. All right, let's look outside while that's doing its thing. Can we still see the skylines? You can see St. Paul right here. Here's downtown home and field. That's an interesting approach. There's downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then Mississippi River and Minnesota River come together right there at Fort Snelling, and then the Mississippi goes along and then joins St. Croix, and it's Wisconsin, just like that. Hello, Wisconsin, seconds away. Alrighty, here we go. Let's hit nav because we totally missed it. And it's gonna find it. Okay, sometimes if you're too far away from it and other airplanes, it won't find this, but it's gonna find this for us. Okay, cool. So once we get established on this VOR outbound, I will show you how we're gonna connect to the next VOR. And what's our speed? Oh gosh, we're overspeeding. Why don't we get an overspeed warning? We're not even at 10,000 feet, so we're supposed to be at 250. We're supposed to be down here. But without auto throttle, I always speed. Sorry, that's just how it is. Alrighty, oh, I do have a note that says, yes, we can turn on our aux pumps and it won't turn the engine off. So let's turn on the aux pumps, but I'm not doing crossfeed. No, no, no. Alrighty, so what I have to do now is get to cruise and trim to 320 to 340 knots, which doesn't work because it fishtails, like I said, like a Mustang leaving carbs and coffee, which I'll show you. I'll demonstrate that for you once you do get to cruise. But let's not go too slow. I know we're speeding. I'm sorry. Not really, but sorry, not sorry. There's the bridges in the Hudson already. Look how fast we got to Wisconsin. There's Hudson, Wisconsin. My goodness. Alrighty. You gonna line back up with us, please, here? And let's keep our speed. Okay, now we're not speeding. See? I comply sometimes. Anywho, up to 17,000 feet. The way this is going to work... Oh boy, more instructions. More instructions, and then we'll do the next VOR.
Going to 133.7 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Minneapolis Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is passing 10,100 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Minneapolis Center altimeter 29.98 radar contact continue.
And again, I just hit the B for on my barometer. Alrighty, now we can go above 250. So let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to set my heading bug now, right? Because of the wind, we're kind of off. Plus, it's not quite lined up. So we're going to set the heading bug to the heading we're headed. We're going to hit heading on my autopilot to follow the heading bug, and we're going to come down here and go to the next VOR, which is 117.9, and we're going to go inbound 132 degrees. So then I move this to 132 degrees.
Minneapolis Center on 125.3. Good day.
125.3 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is at 11,600 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Minneapolis Center altimeter 29.98 radar contact continue.
Alright, so I changed my VOR down below, down here, right? And then I came up here and I changed this 132 degrees. Now I'm using the heading bug to get us closer to our line, and then once our line lines up, I'll hit nav again on the autopilot, and it'll follow that line. And we're 64 nautical miles away from the VOR. When this gets to be, oh, watch our speed. When this gets to be like 3, well, if I'd say 5 miles, because we're going to be up so high, right? 4 or 5 miles, 5 or 6 miles, then we'll use heading bug and change to the next VOR. So let's get the next VOR set up, because those 62 nautical miles goes quickly. Let's come down here. Next one is 117.0, that's Wisconsin Dells, which isn't going to be interesting from the sky, but on the ground it's amazing. So 117.0, 117.0. So here we go. And so when, like I said, when this gets like 5-6 miles, nautical miles, I switch over. So I'm going to keep it with me a little bit before we do some sightseeing. We'll do a few more of these, and then we'll end the video, and then we'll go to part 2. But a few more things yet. Things to look for. Let's see how our fuel's doing, which I'm going to go up here to check. Oh, good. It's only used a few. Good. Okay. Speed is good, right? Holding speed. There's not auto throttle that I'm aware of. If there is, I'm not aware of it, so you just got to be careful. And it takes a very long time to speed up. So you'll engage throttle, be like, oh, we're good, and then you come back and it went up 100 knots. So you got to be careful. What else is there to worry about? Nothing. Pretty easy. I love Slant-Alpha flying. See, started engagement out. I told you it would. Let's look outside a second while we're. Oh, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? I can't remember what city that is, but anyway. Oh. 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
And again, with my autopilot on my desk, it maxes out at 1,500 feet per minute. I don't know if that's the plane or if it's some other integration thing. Of course, if you manually fly, you can go like 10,000 feet per minute, which you wouldn't, but you could. So I don't know why autopilot limits it to 1,500. It just does. But it's very busy to do these flights, which is fine. It's fun. Here we go. Hand off.
128.6 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Goodbye. Minneapolis-St Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is at 16,300 feet, climbing flight level 230.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Minneapolis Center altimeter 29.999 radar contact. Continue.
Alrighty, I think we're good here. So let's, oh, not quite yet. I'm gonna let it line up. If I don't let it line up, it's gonna S-curve, right, to get back to this. What's going on here? Okay, that's somebody else. Let me just turn that down for you if I need to. Otherwise, we're gonna keep climbing, and we're gonna hit nav on autopilot in just a second here as soon as those pixels line up. And a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so now we're following the inbound radial, 132 degrees. Although maybe it's 131. I don't really, it's close enough. What else is there? I'm going to keep an eye on our speed and keep following instructions to climb. And this will hold exactly. And when this gets closer to 6, I will change to the next VOR, and I'll do that all with you. So let's get the heading bug prepared. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I would like to use IS hold in this, but I can't get it to work for climbing. So there we go. Let's use heading bug. So even though we're tracking that, we're actually facing this way, right? Heading versus tracking for the crosswind. I'll show you if we go like this. Oh yeah, now it's going to start doing this thing where it rocks back and forth. So it does that when it's climbing for some reason. I don't understand, but we'll be okay. It'll be fine. See, look, it rocks back and forth. Just back and forth just to stay steady, whatever. Otherwise, I think we're good. Where are we at? We were at 10, 19, 5. 19,500, 19,600. We'll get to 20,000 in a second here. And then we'll get instructions to climb more because I think we're set to 23,000, yeah. So Let's just hang tight. They should give us instructions in just a second. So let's enjoy the view here from this window while we look at the shadows on the ground over Midwest farmland. How beautiful is that? Just beautiful. And it's rocking back and forth. Like I said, I'll stick with you until we're at cruise, then we'll do some sightseeing, and then I'll decide if that's where we end the video, with this part of the video. I'm trying to get all the things out because people are trying to get some work done, or play cards or something. Oh, there's a couch. Lie down on the couch. Alright, cool. Alright, any second now we should get instructions because we're at 21,000 feet and climbing.
Turtle Soup Tango Tango Tango, full 1 climb and maintain flight level 290.
Climb and maintain flight level 290 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
There we go. Flight level 290. So we're going to keep climbing. Climb, climb, climb. Our speed is holding really well. I haven't had to make any adjustments, so that's great. We're climbing at 1,500 feet, which is slow, but that's the way it is. We're about to get to the next VOR, and we will change over. I'll show you, like I said, how that works. Let's get heading bug ready to go. So even though we're pointing kind of this way to stay on track because of the wind, I'm going to keep heading bug up here. Tracking versus heading. We just talk about that all the time in X-Plane. Any sightseeing shots outside while we're waiting? That's a good shot. I'm not terribly worried about the clouds right now because we can still see through the clouds. So we'll be able to see the major cities as we go. But if they get too thick, then I'll turn them off. Clear days can be boring, but there are some things I want to see specifically in this flight. Which is why we're doing it this way. Very pretty. The thing is just flying. Too bad it rocks back and forth, but whatever. I mean, flaps and everything are up, right? Gears up, obviously. Right? Gears up. Yep. Flaps are up. Not sure what its problem is, but... Ooh. Clouds just updated and got thicker, so we might have to turn the clouds off. I really want to see what's going on below us. Alright, here we go. 6 nautical miles, so let's do heading bug. Do heading hold on the autopilot. Come down here, change to 117.0, and we're going to go inbound, what? Inbound 117.0, 104 degrees. So let's bring this to 104, because we're turning left basically. So there's 90, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, move heading over to it, and then once we line it up, I'll engage. Nav hold again. So there we go. So while that's doing its thing, what is after Wisconsin Dells? Milwaukee, which is 116.4. So there's our 0.4. And there's 116. So there we go. So now 75 nautical miles to Wisconsin Dells. Alrighty. And then again, when this gets to like 5 or 6, I'll use heading hold to hold our heading while I change over to Milwaukee, which is in standby. So I always throw myself off, right? Because I'm like, oh, we're headed to Milwaukee. No. I put in Milwaukee here. This is Wisconsin Dells. We are headed towards Wisconsin Dells still. I often skip one because I don't know why. What I used to do in the 727 with the other nav radio is I would have them both going at the same time. So we'd be like, okay, we're heading towards this in the computer, but the other line would show us the next one. It wasn't necessary, it was just fun. But anyway, we're going over this little cloudy thing here, this little cloud patch, and then it clears up again, so I don't need to mess with weather, at least not now. So we'll just enjoy the storm that we're going over, I guess. Literally, it's just a storm. That's cool. Very nice. Okay, very, very smooth. This is much more smooth than my practice flight. A little bit more in the video. We're not going to, I know we're hitting an hour, pretty close to an hour, but I want to keep going with you here a little bit. 320.
Climb and maintain flight level 320 Turtle Soup Tango Tango
And that will be cruise, and we'll see how this airplane behaves at cruise. I'm sure it can go higher than 3,200 or flight level 320, but it was giving me problems in my practice flight, so we're just going to hang out there. Anyway, our speed is amazing. I'll have to adjust once we're done climbing. And oh, it's time to hit heading now on the GPS, or nav on the GPS. So it's going to follow that. And then, like I said, once this gets to 5 or 6, I'll switch to Milwaukee. And then when we get to Milwaukee, if we can't see anything, I'll clear up the clouds. But there you go. Alrighty, so let's stick together until we get to cruise. We are at 28,600 feet. It's a little bit of sightseeing. Then we'll get to cruise, and then that's when we'll end the video. So just bear with me a little bit. Let me get heading bug ready to go in case I need it for some reason. And enjoy the sights for a minute. And that right there is cruise, 32,000 feet. So, that, I guess, will end our video for today. Ooh, those are some fun wispy clouds. And I will start the next video right here. So for me, I'm just going to continue, but for you, you have to wait a day or two. Hopefully I have the next video up every other day or every day, so you don't have to wait too long to continue. And we'll start the next video preparing to change the VOR, because we're headed to Wisconsin Dells still, right? We're heading towards 117. Yep, so we'll take off, resume Wisconsin Dells, which is right over here by this lake. So, Wisconsin Dells, biggest water park area in the world. Anyway, talk about that next time. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when the part 2 drops, which for me will be right now, for you will be in a day or two, and I'll see you then.